I'm Supermoon Tarot, and in today's video we are going to be finding out, do they feel your connection to? An important question, because obviously we don't want it to be one-sided. As usual, these are very detailed, and I will often find much more than is the initial question, so I'm looking forward to looking into this. We've got groups number 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to give you a moment to pick the group that you resonate with most. Now that you've done that, you can go down to the description where you can see your designated group with its marked timestamp, so you can skip it to that part. And let's get started with group number 1. Group number 1, let's find out, do they feel this connection too? By looking at the cards. We've got 6 of Cups in reverse, the Devil card in reverse, the Queen of Swords in reverse, the Star card upright, and we have a 6 of Pentacles in reverse. Interesting. This mirror image of the 2 sixes is very interesting. There's almost like, I don't know how to put this any other way, but there's like a strange harmony going on. Sometimes in life, when things seem dysfunctional, it doesn't mean it's completely out of whack. I know this doesn't quite make sense. I'm going to get more into this, but this is not a simple picture of black and white, of, you know, there's a lot of gray going on, and the gray is beautiful, actually, and there is something bigger being said even beyond you, this other person, and the relationship itself, which I think is really unique. I'm very hypnotized by what's going on here. So let's get started on what's over here. The Devil card in reverse and the 6 of Cups in reverse both represent this other person. And here's the thing. So normally this card represents when somebody's overcoming an unhealthy habit or way they experience relationships and stuff like that. But in fact, this still represents when somebody doesn't have the best way of handling things, maybe isn't the best partner to get in contact with. This can be due to both their health habits, like overall, like do they kind of binge something too much, withdraw from something too much? I'll just kind of leave it at that, so to speak. You can read between the lines there. Or maybe they don't treat their partners the best, and sort of a warning from the universe. This is more like, see how they're upside down? They have sort of a warped perspective of how they approach things. It doesn't quite make sense. It feels very Alice in Wonderland, like wackadoo, and there's a logic in it for them, but you will be forced to get on their level, is the way I can put it. This is you over here in the Queen of Swords. As you can see, you're also reversed in order to see what they see, respond in the way they can understand, in order to properly communicate. But here's the thing. The communication is still not going to leave you satisfied, because even if they properly understand what you're saying, it doesn't mean they're going to then, that's that knowledge that you pass between the two of you being more honest. That's what's going on over here in the Queen of Swords. This is you having like an honest conversation of being like, hey, why do you do this? How do you feel about me? Let's get to, you know, brass tacks and be more upfront about what's going on with our feelings. Even if you can speak in the language they can understand, it's not going to turn them right side up and make things work on the level that you naturally function in, is if you turn the Queen of Swords upright. Does this make sense? You know what I mean? It's like you're like, okay, well, what works for them now? How can I express the idea in the way they can understand? Maybe this will help them get on, you know, the way I perceive the world and how we want things going forward in the relationship, or how I would hope things will go forward in the relationship. It's not going to happen. There's something off there. Mostly what's pulling them is over here in the 6 of Cups. Something in their past keeps pulling them back. And my spirit guide was telling me that there's someone actually in particular in their past that keeps pulling them back. I'm not saying any details of this is explicitly why they view the world or perceive the world in this unusual way and perceive information in this unusual way. This could just be naturally the way they are, but this is also in addition, to be honest with you, an issue. Like, there's someone else that they're sort of still, I don't want to say pining for, but maybe would compare others to this person. There's still an idea that they haven't let go of this other person. And that's a danger when you're going into a relationship, because you're hoping that you're the only one. You're hoping that you're the person that's the only apple of their eye, not you and the idea or concept of what they would like or someone else. You see what I'm saying here? So here's the thing. Do they feel this connection? Yes, they do. There is something that is being returned, even if it comes out in a weird, confusing way, because they just don't express themselves the way everyone else would, to be honest with you. I can't even say just you. It is a everyone else type of scenario. And so this is where a lot of stuff gets muddled and confusing and difficult for you to be like, well, I'm kind of confused. I can't quite pick up what they're putting down, so to speak. They are not trying to, on purpose, play with your emotions or string you along or, many other, there's a lot of beautiful words for this type of person that many people have coined to say when somebody puts you through this on purpose and they're very knowledgeable about it. No. They're into you. They just, due to their upside down sort of logic and expressing themselves, a lot of stuff is getting lost in translation. But here we got to go further on into this, because these three cards are really important to understand. Like, oh, okay, so they feel the connection, but yeah, this is worrying. What else is going on here? So over here in the Queen of Swords before, like I said, is you're being represented. So there is the need and the desire I can see on your end to be like, hey, this, I see, I'm into you, you're alluring, maybe even potentially because you have a different way of, expressing yourself. And I think that's so mysterious and wonderful, but I still need answers. I still need to figure out, what are we? Who are you? What do you want in the future? I need a little bit of an answer here. And you seem pretty intent on it, which is a great thing. It would make sense. We need to establish some, like a footprint, a foundation of what's going on. And you're going to find yourself sort of bending to their perspective in order to get on their level. But here's the thing. It's not going to make them turn this card around and be the person that you want them to be and get out of this sort of logic. This is who they are. And in addition to that, you're going to kind of find yourself turned upside down in the process. But because this isn't your natural way of expressing ideas and perceiving the world, it's going to naturally feel misaligned. And then you will feel misaligned. And then you're going to start kind of feeling off and bad. And then in turn think, are they making me feel off and bad? I mean, I guess you could say in a way, because you're trying to meet their level and they were the motivation for that. But it's more that you're not being your truest self in order to be in this relationship. You have to be another version of yourself in order to find some form of compatibility. And that in itself is a question you should basically ask yourself. Why am I doing this? Is this worth it, essentially? But we can go even more over here. So these can be compared to each other. They're sort of like, sometimes tarot does this. They're trying to show you two different examples of the same thing going on. As you can see, they're sort of mirroring images upside down. They're both giving something over here. So over here we have the Star card. My spirit guides are pointing out something really interesting here, or one in particular. They were saying that here is a sort of lake, we'll call it, and this is you. And this is the other person, and they are a stream. And it's saying, are you going to focus on the fact that they're both water and kind of smush them together and be like, does that mean they're running into each other? Does that mean they'll form into the same scenario? Or are you going to stand back and look at both separately and realize kind of what's going on and ask yourself, is the stream meant to exist on its own? Are you meant to exist on your own? Is it meant to pull into each other? And I know this seems very vague. I'm going to get into some more specifics. But think over here in the Six of Pentacles in reverse, representing someone's scales, your balance within yourself, being tipped. And this, in this case scenario, this is this other person sort of putting you in a bind to, often this card represents overgiving, but it's almost like you're losing your focus as to where to put your energy and how much to put your energy. And it's sort of, being overly flooded in one direction and not evenly amongst yourself, being able to look outside the scenario as a whole. You're just they're pulling your attention too much, essentially. And then over here, you're very, you're in control. You are able to be this wonderful, beautiful lake that is constantly flooding with this sense of these ideas, this creativity. The star card's all about destiny, and we can actually get more into that too. But think of this as you being on your path in life and doing quite well and being comfortable with who you are and where you're going. And they might pop up and be that sort of unexpected event in your life, and they're welcome to kind of get on your level, so to speak. But that's the thing. They need to be willing to see that they can get on your level just as much. And if they can't, then they are just a stream and you are a lake, and there's something nice and there's something compatible here. This is what I'm talking about when I said earlier the strange sort of harmony going on. Yes, you're two forms of water, so to speak, when we think of this metaphor, but it's just kind of like, is it okay with you to coexist as two separate things that occasionally run into each other? What do you in the long term want? Do you want another, I guess you could say, lake or paper boat? I don't know what the equal compatibility comparison would be here, but you catch my drift. Is this what makes you happy and you feel you will be satisfied with in the long run? Something really interesting here too is I'm being told by my spirit guide that there is a huge sort of destiny thing going on with the two of you. Sometimes we run into people who they just are whoever they are, and you experience them and it's temporary, good or bad, and it just, especially bad, and it doesn't have a deeper meaning. It's just kind of someone you experience, so to speak. Sometimes it's a small life lesson in there or something like that. But in this case, there is a strong destiny element of you two running into each other. I'm getting a very heavy tone that it is bigger than the idea of, oh, well, does that mean we're soulmates or twin flames? No, not necessarily. Sometimes it's this, in some scenarios, but in your case, it feels like it's beyond the scope of the relationship itself and simplifying it just as, oh, we're both into each other. Sometimes you're running into each other because you were meant to affect the other, and in such a way that has a grander impact on the rest of your life. So it's not necessarily about being with this other person or love or like I said, soulmates or twin flames. It can be, it's like there is something I'm not quite seeing yet that will develop in the long run because you two are interacting. And it will affect both of you in a very positive way, I do want to mention, so I don't want to freak you out here. But I just think it's so interesting and multi-layered what's going on here, and I hope you find it interesting too. So again, yes, they're into you. Yes, there is a connection. It can be a little bit lost in translation due to the way they express themselves, but keep in mind these other factors and how it will affect you in the long run. But the beautiful kind of harmony that's developing nonetheless because you came together. So I love that for you, for both of you. If you enjoyed this reading, please consider giving it a like, comment, subscribe, and a share. It helps out the channel like you would not believe. Have a beautiful day. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. I'm wishing you and this other person the best. And let's get ready for group number 2. Group number 2. Let's find out, do they feel this connection too by looking at the cards? We have 10 of Pentacles in reverse, 9 of Pentacles in reverse, 10 of Cups upright, 7 of Pentacles upright, and your final card is 6 of Swords upright. Give me just one moment to look at everything. Ooh, two skidoo. There's 2 people in this. Oh, yes. Okay. Oh, good. Okay, so we're going to be talking about some things that you had not anticipated, and this is going to go in a route you maybe weren't even asking for in a good way. And you're going to really love the ending, so definitely stick around for that one. I love this. Okay, so my spirit guide is telling me this is the most important card of the spread and is defining a lot about this scenario. It's even more important than even this question itself. This is you being represented by the Seven of Pentacles. You've put your feelings out there, and just so you know, it is very clear to this other person how you feel. You let them know, hey, I'm into you. What's up? This is kind of what I would like, in the long run. How do you feel about this? And essentially, this is you waiting. This is really important because my spirit guide's telling me, especially in this card being represented over here, you have a tendency to wait in your life. Now, this is not a criticism. This is just saying you've been put in many positions where you're very clear about what you want, and you're just kind of waiting for the universe to catch up. You're waiting for other people to catch up. And so this is something you've unfortunately developed as a sort of habit. And you're just kind of like used to it. You're just like, okay, I'm just waiting for everyone else to make a decision on how they feel. And so you're waiting. This is you contemplating over here what it is you'd like. This shows me the severity of the situation, how much you're really into them. It's a very strong connection. The Ten of Cups often even refers to concepts like family and marriage, depending on what you want in the long run. At the minimum, you're just thinking, I would like to be with them. If not forever, for a long time. This is feeling like endgame. I'm really into this other person. And there's this beautiful, dreamy vibe you've developed in between your waiting. You're like, okay, well, I'm waiting to hear what they have to say. In the meantime, I will entertain myself with this fantasy and idea. And the whole thing is quite sweet and innocent and dreamy, and it makes you quite likable. Like, not as in likable to the world. I mean, I guess you could say, I'm saying that I'm looking at you and I'm like, oh, you seem so sweet and cute. And this is lovely. But it's sort of shadowing, or I guess blinding with a light, casting out what's going on over here with this other person. So the term connection here with the overall question we're asking is kind of, it's like they're very focused on you is the best way you can put it. Yes, you are feeling their focus. Keep in mind, see how I'm using the term focus and not connection. They are very focused on who you are and what you have. See over here in the Seven of Pentacles that while you do have to wait and you are waiting to get clear confirmation if they would like to move forward in the direction that you would like to as well, you're quite a good gardener. That's the thing about the Seven of Pentacles. This is somebody who understands how to plant a seed and turn it into something. These can be seeds of ideas. This can be just general prosperity financially. Financially seems to be coming up quite a bit. There's something magical around you, whether it be the wealth that you currently have now, or it's the capability they see within you that you are someone capable of bringing in a lot of wealth. But either way, unbeknownst to you, you're sort of projecting this image. That's not your main focus as far as you're concerned. It's like the gardener waiting for their seeds to grow. They're just thinking about, oh, I'm going to cook this, I'm going to cook that. But an outside perspective might be like, wow, look at all they can accomplish. Look at the many farms they can build in the long term. Look at all the money they can have, so on and so forth. They're thinking of the bigger picture when they look at you. This is how they feel towards you. So it is a compliment to how great you are and that they are seeing it. But with the Nine of Pentacles being in reverse, there's a sort of attitude coming off on their end. It is a hidden attitude. You'd have to be pretty honed in to notice it. But they seem to be very like, how do I express this? I want what you have. That's not fair. I want a piece of this pie, so to speak. And there's sort of a, how can I get whatever they have by being with them or learn from them what it is they have to offer. I mean, this can potentially refer to something like knowledge or skills, but I'm going to just leave it as, at the minimum, by being around you, they can benefit from your general prosperity that they see that you will either already have or are capable of. Again, this is a positive sign from the universe of how great you're doing and the long-term benefits you can receive if you really hone in your intention in the universe and whatever you want to happen. Success is imminent for you, which is really beautiful. But then over here, we also have the Ten of Pentacles in reverse. They are more focused in being able to burn through that success, burn through that financial wealth, whatever can instantly give them happiness. In both of these cases, it is about personal gratification for them rather than what can benefit the relationship as the whole. They are so focused on themselves and what you can give them that they're not really thinking the same sort of goals and ideas that you have. Even if they say, and I am being shown the vibe that they can project an idea or image of, oh yes, I want this too. They only want this. It's sort of a pathological liar type of scenario. They only want this, and they're putting this vibe out there because they know that if they reach this same endpoint that you want, they will have all of this stuff you have to offer. So while you're thinking at the endpoint what you have to offer, and you will also simultaneously receive is, love and being cherished and connection and partnership, they have other things in mind. And keep in mind, this is not something you'll be receiving. I see a lot of taking on this end. And I want to compliment, you are not over giving. You are giving and ready and waiting to receive. There's a very healthy mindset going on in your scenario. So that's kind of the vibe going on with them. But remember how I said that this would end a lot more positive than you were aware of? Well, I'm very excited to say over here, I actually see someone else popping up. And whether you want to sort of move on from this other person and open yourself up and make yourself available to this other person is really your choice in the end. But there is somebody else waiting, a much better person and option, I'm excited to say. And I'm also even more excited to say that they are the very next person that you choose to sort of seek out and build something with. And I'm not talking about someone you have a crush on. I'm talking about you actually are dating and seeing each other. That next person, well, there's something special going on. If you notice over here in the Six of Swords, there is a group of people going forward in a boat. Everyone's going towards the same destination. They're all on the same page, so to speak. That's what's going on with this other person. Both of you are not on the same page or have the same goals. And one is more aware of the full scenario of what's going on, their intentions and yours, and where they fit in. And in this scenario, everybody is happily moving towards the same beautiful goals and fantasies that you have, and that they also share, which is really beautiful. I want to also add in one more thing that I think will be really delighted to hear. They definitely think that they have this upper hand. I want to say this in the politest fashion possible, but you'll like in the end where it goes. They kind of just think that there's kind of this vibe of like, oh, they're weak, I'm strong, I have the upper hand, I know everything that's going on, I have complete control over them, they'll just do anything that I want and feel. It's so funny they think that, by the way, considering how much power they see that you have. They just think that you're very moldable is the best way I can put it. But here's the joke on them. Everything is saying that you're very capable and totally fine. You were not in the least weak. Not that that would be a negative thing or how I would ever describe another person. But the second you notice something's up, you're very quick to being like, oh, okay, well, I don't really want to be with someone like that. Goodbye. I have no problem, setting boundaries and kicking you out of my garden, so to speak. And this is something that's pompous and an energy that is incorrect. It's their misperception of the scenario and not actually who you are as a person, as well as not how the situation actually is. Like, you are unaware of their intentions and actions right now, but you are more than capable of being like, get out of here, goodbye. So I love that. I love that for you. So yeah, the choice is yours, but just know that I'm happy to say another option is waiting around the corner, not very far from here. So if you enjoyed this reading, please consider giving it a like, comment, and subscribe. It helps out the channel like you would not believe. Have a beautiful day. I am wishing you the best, and I will see you in the next one. Let's get ready for group number 3. Let's find out, do they feel this connection too? By looking at the cards. We've got 5 of Cups in reverse, 8 of Pentacles upright, 6 of Cups in reverse, the Death card upright, and the 4 of Pentacles upright. Let me just look at what's going on here. Oh my gosh, this is so cute. Okay, I have a lot of good news. I'm so excited to say. So this is actually a bit of the past represented, and for sure the future, which I'm excited to talk about. So I want to talk about the 8 of Pentacles first. This is a huge compliment to you as a person. This is a very big card for you. Normally it defines one little small aspect you're working along in life. Think of it as that sort of vibe of the day-to-day grind is how I describe it. So like, you know how when you're at work, you're like, okay, every day I'm focused on accomplishing this task and this task, and I iron things out and improve it and make it better. And because you're so lost in like whatever you need to do in the moment each day, every day, there's a longevity and an overall enjoyment to what you do for a living. It's a very fun, but it's also a sort of, you can trust yourself that everything's going to, in the long term, very, very beneficial, and people will notice this due to you being more focused on the present and what you can accomplish and improve in the present, rather than just thinking money, 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 the long term. You know, what's the next promotion? What's the next this? What's this? You're just so focused on enjoying your work. Well, this is actually more focused, that concept, but replace your career for the relationship and even yourself. You have done a lot of internal work and said, what is there? What do I need to fix or work on? And kind of just faced it with a great head on your shoulders, pretty humble, not thinking about it too deeply, beating yourself up too deeply. It was just always the right thing to do for yourself. But it also shows, if for some of you who are, in this case, some of you are actually in currently a relationship, how you handle the relationship this way. But it's also the positive, like this is how it will be going forward in the relationship. You will always be okay working on it, making it better. And I don't mean because there will always be issues, but just normal, when people are together, you have your moments where things run into each other and you need to fix it. And that's so normal. Nothing's wrong with that. And in that way, you will be easily able to handle it in the way that will benefit you, the other person, the couple as a whole, like the relationship as a whole, you both individually as individual people. And then in the long term, if it's not an actual issue going on, like a fight or a problem, there's just in general this happy sort of vibe where, you always say, how can I love you even more? And there's just a lot of respectful qualities going on there, and something that will really guide and always improve and deepen this relationship. Notice how I'm kind of implying something there with the longevity going on. So get excited as I continue talking about this. We'll get into that in one moment though. This represents the other person going on. In the 5 of Cups in reverse, for some situations, there were some issues going on in the relationship. this could be anything from their own personal worries or woes. It feels more like if there was any difficulties going on in the relationship, it was more on their personal end. Again, their own personal problems they had to overcome, whatever that may be. And I'm happy to say they are being resolved and have been resolved and will be resolved. It's this sort of, for some of you, it has just been resolved and you're wondering, will it pop up again? No. And for that's a hard no, by the way. We'll be getting into that in a moment. And for some of you, you're kind of right at that cusp. It's resolving and you're wondering, will it make it to the other side and be behind both of you for good? Yes, I'm actually happy to say that that's true. Overall, though, it is a representation of somebody realizing, okay, I'm no longer consumed by my own personal melodrama and issues, and I realize none of it really matters, and this is so cute, as long as I have you, the person watching this video. I love it. It's so cute. There's this feeling of, instead of looking all over my cups and seeing what's in them, how filled they are, do I have them, where are they, I want to give them all to you, and not cups of problems, just to be clear. Cups of affection and attention. And it's them realizing what's important and like how they want to sort of sorry, I'm mentally getting distracted. Sorry, I apologize. My brain just went off on a tangent there. I was just remember when I kept getting spooked out by something popping up behind me. I was just thinking about how far we've come as like me, you, the audience, and me making videos. I was just laughing about that. Sorry, my brain just totally went somewhere else for a second, and I needed to express that in order to not be distracted anymore. Anyways, so this is them giving all of that to you, not only leaving that behind, but really realizing what's more fun, beneficial, how they actually want to spend the time, and what's more important. And that taking such precedence that they realize their problems aren't really problems anymore. It doesn't really matter as long as I have you. It's very sweet. So this is where we get a double hardcore confirmation on, do they feel the same connection for you? It is a hard yes. I'm really excited to say where it continues to go, but it is an extreme yes. As you can see, even when you're unaware of it, even when you're working on yourself or distracted by an idea, I'm telling you this right now, they look at you when you're not looking at them. They admire you across the room. When you have your head down, they are taking a little peek. They are very interested in you, and genuinely, as a true connection. And then over here, this is them also just simply giving you that sort of attention and saying, I see that you work hard in this relationship. That means so much to me. And I'll be honest with you, they haven't had this before. It's something they really admire in you and admire in the experience in general. And they can say, hey, I see that this is a natural skill you have. I'm just letting you know. I appreciate it. I love you. I'm giving you my love in return. Your hard work is very much, I don't mean to be redundant, appreciated, and I just want to give it back to you and show you this is what I can offer because I see what you're offering, which is really sweet and beautiful. Now, this is where that sort of love and connection gets magnified on a much higher scale, which is really beautiful. Over here in the death card, there is a leaving behind what no longer works for you guys, not only as individuals, but as a couple. Your connection and desire to always be with each other and build upon that and improve that has sort of such an intense connection going on that it blows everything else out of the waters. And I don't mean as an impressiveness. I guess I do. It's more that the impressiveness has an effect on your outside surrounding. So if you've had any sort of outside interference, maybe a past relationship on their end or your end kind of tries to pop in and tries to distract you or create drama, it gets blown away. If there's any sort of person trying to affect this other person, maybe it's a boss or something, and that could potentially be brought back into the relationship, blown away, not an issue. Because there is such a desire to always build upon and improve and interlock deeper and deeper and deeper, anything that could possibly affect one another, which will then in turn be, I don't want to say taken out on, but you know, when you feel for the other person and you see they're sad and then in turn you become sad, so as a little unit you're sad, that's not going to be an issue at all. That is how intense the connection is going on between the two of you, and in the long run will go on. Because over here in the Four of Pentacles upright, I'm really happy to confirm and say that this is something that's super like locked down. This is not an idea or a way of approaching the relationship that will be changing at all. I'm not even saying anytime soon, like at all. That's just the way it is. As long as there is a desire on both of your end to want to work on it, and I am seeing that it's there, not only will this continue, it's sort of momentum never ending kind of thing, you get what I'm saying? But also, in addition to that, it will make the connection that you guys have will in turn make life easier because it blasts everything out of the stratosphere of potentially affecting you. So it is getting better for your partner on a personal level. Keep doing you because it's something they admire. The connection for sure is being returned. This connection is making overall both of your lives better, and it is something that I don't see changing, and I'm really happy to say that. It's pretty beautiful. So if you enjoyed this reading, please give it a like, comment, and subscribe. It helps out like you would not believe. Have a beautiful day. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Please like, comment, and subscribe and share. It helps out the channel like you would not believe. And I will see you in the next one. Let's get ready for group number 4. Group number 4. Let's find out. Do they feel this connection too by looking at the cards? We've got the Chariot in reverse, 3 of Pentacles upright, 7 of Swords in reverse, Knight of Cups upright, and Page of Swords upright. Let me just look at this for a moment. Let me just pull one more card to make sure of something. Oh, this is so cute. I love this. Okay, this is adorable. Okay. So I have some great news to talk about, but I also have some impending stuff going to happen. And I want to share it with you. So after you hear some stuff, I want you to stick around because it is important that you are aware of the other bits of information, so you're not happy and satisfied one moment and then totally caught off guard and sort of freak out the next when it really doesn't need to be that way. So this will basically help you brace for impact, so to speak. So my spirit guide is saying that you are represented here in the Page of Swords upright, and this other person that is in question is represented over here in the Knight of Cups upright. And this is just so cute. I cannot express this enough, especially on your end and how you sort of express yourself, I guess is the best way to put it. Your personality, if you will. I love this. So in the Page of Swords, we have you kind of cutely flaunting, letting the other person know, hey, I'm into you. Hey, I'm here. There's this quite joyous, I can't quite put a word on it, whether this be just straight up you complimenting the other person a lot and letting them know, hey, I'm into you, I think you're really cute, blah, 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 over and over again in a really sweet, loving way, or if it's just a general aura of this. But there is something very fun and inviting that you're intentionally putting out there that they are picking up. And there's a sort of a cute coyness to it, that sort of first time kind of feel of when you're like, ooh, yeah, what do you mean I'm so cute? I don't even know what you're talking about. And you're cutely doing this facetiously, putting this out there, sort of on purpose luring them in trying to also act like you didn't know you were doing that. But both of you are aware that you are in a really fun way. But interestingly enough, simultaneously, this is also super cute too. There is a subconscious sort of deflect going up, or not deflect, I guess defense mechanism. See how they're holding this sword? It is very deep within you. It is kind of like them getting too close, and then all of a sudden you pull it out of nowhere, and then you start whacking them and pushing them back, and you simultaneously, as well as them, are looking down at yourself and going, I don't know where this came from. I don't know why I'm responding this way. Oh my goodness. And it hasn't quite happened yet. I'm not saying it's going to, but on a deep subconscious level, you're maybe not as free and as open as you might be thinking you are. This doesn't mean you need to change your tactics or the way you're expressing yourself in the least. Everything's fine. Keep doing you. But this sort of reaction is actually your intuition working beautifully. You are picking up something that is going to happen. I am so sorry about that. Some alarms started to go off in the other room, and so I'll probably overlap it so you can't hear it, but I had to go grab that real quick. Anyways, going on to what we were saying. So this is just your intuition essentially working very well, and you are picking up something. It doesn't mean that you should be frightened. It's just your natural like alarm system pre-working, so to speak, and aware of what's to come, so to put it simply. So anyways, back to the Knight of Cups over here. First off the bat, yes, there is a connection here. It feels new. I cannot speak for the longevity of it, but it does not feel small. It does not feel like, how do I put this? It doesn't feel like their intention is just to be with you for a month and then ditch out on purpose or anything like that. They're really into you. It's super cute. They want to let you know. They want to reach out to you. They want to shower you with affection and take you out and go on dates and all that positive stuff. They are not hiding anything. The affection you feel is genuine. They really are into you, which is really cute. And they want to let you know about it. And they even can see these multifaceted sides of you, and they find it adorable and want to shower you with even more affection and connection. So there's something really sweet going on here. I think it's kind of interesting. Now, normally I wouldn't commentate on this, but I think it's kind of interesting, this sort of up in the air vibe of, is it a more long-term type of vibe? Or like the intention is there. The reason why that aspect of the long-termness, not that that might even be the question you're asking, but I'm just trying to put it out there, that is kind of sort of up in question, is what then happens next. So this is the part to brace yourself for, but it's okay. Over here in the Seven of Swords in reverse, I can see that they are going to be revealing something big to you. This would be something quite large. And it is going to make you respond initially of just being like, what? You know what I mean? Being kind of shocked and definitely need a second to process it. I can see that it has something to do with work. I'm not quite certain what else it is, but it can be anything. I'm kind of weirdly getting a vibe that it could be something to do with some sort of relationship that happened at work or something. This could be like a good scenario for this would be them saying, hey, someone just started working at my work, or I work with someone I used to date with or something like that. You know what I mean? There's some sort of scenario that of course you'd be like, wait a minute. So I'm dating you and I have to be okay with you working with someone you used to date or something like that. I'm just giving you an off the cuff example. And this thing will, shock you. It will take you a second. But I am being told, and then I have the confirmation over here, that this is something that you will very quickly be able to process, be okay with. It's really not that big of a deal. It's more of a initial shock, but everything's going to be okay. And it is going to be okay for a variety of reasons. It could be okay because then that person that they once dated, again, this is a off the cuff example, eventually moves out and it's nothing to worry about. Maybe they don't even have feelings for them anymore, and so they wouldn't even try to do anything with your person. Either way, it feels like they're sharing this with you because it truly is not an issue anymore, and they just want you to know. So if they say something like an example, hey, at work, I used to be with this other person, or whatever that may be, just understand that when they say, I am not into them anymore, or whatever, that is honest. That is true. That is why they're telling it to you. They feel a connection strong enough. They want to be honest with you. But when they say they're not into them, they really are not into them. They are only focused on you. There's not multiple people they're interested in at this moment in the least. They're really, really throwing not only their focus, connection, but they're proactively putting their effort into displaying it to you, just to be clear. So over here in the Chariot, with the Justice card representing this sense of like balance in the relationship and this feeling of like, if you know somebody else has the upper hand, again, as an example, that it's someone that they worked with, they liked it previously or something like this, just understand that I can see there is the concern initially when you hear about it, if this will affect the balance and scale and how everything seemed to be so even and you both were cool with each other, and you will be more than fine in the end. Nothing can affect it. As you can see in the Justice card, she is unmoving, unwavering. Nothing's going to affect this Chariot small little archery situation going that way, and it's just not going to be an issue at all. But I am being told it will be basically news strong enough that you're going to have a reaction, and then you will easily process it and you can trust what they have to say. And in the end, even after certain knowledge is conveyed, both of you will just forget about it and get over it, and nothing will be affected. So that sort of up in the air vibe of how long-term do you want this long-termness to be really is up to you and your decision. Because in the end, if you feel affected by it enough, and if revelation they're sharing with you and you want to kind of call it quits before it gets too serious or anything more, then that really is up to you. But I'm just letting you know, like, you can go with it. You can trust them. It's just a small moment. It's actually a beautiful moment to share bonding and trust because they feel they can express this to you. It's showing how they want to truly leave the past behind in order to welcome you in fully. So a lot of really positive characteristics, both as who they are as a person and the goals and intentions for the long-term investment going on. So to put it simply, heck yes, there's a connection going on here, and I'm very excited for you both. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, comment, and subscribe. It helps out the channel like you would not believe. Have a beautiful day. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. And yeah, bye!